Alright, good morning friends. We're back up here at the home place and it's about 29 degrees out here this morning and we've wrapped up for the year, and I just wanted to do a kind of a year-end roundup video for you on these saddles from my friend Rick at J.C. Martin. Sent me up here to evaluate this summer, and we've put in a lot of time and a lot of riding time and a lot of hours on these saddles ourselves, and also a lot of our customers have rode these saddles, which I've passed on their suggestions to improve these saddles, or what they liked or didn't like about them. But I'm just going to do a quick rundown here for you of all the saddles that we rode this summer and evaluated, and tell you a little bit about each one and what we did with them. And hopefully you'll get with my friend Rick and order one of these saddles, because they are a very good saddle for the money. They're tough and stout, they're rigged good, and I think you'll be very happy with them. So with that, we're going to get started. This is the first saddle that we got in this spring. It's got a 15-inch seat in it, and my wife Vickie really fell in love with this saddle. She likes the seat, the comfort of it. She can't pick it up, put it on a horse, but it's a good, tough, stout saddle. And she's rode it all summer long, really liked it. And we've had some of our lesson students ride this saddle, and they've all enjoyed it. I've taken it to clinics, and they've all enjoyed riding it. It's got flat plate rigging in it, nice short skirts. It's got a good seat, 5.5-inch cantle, comes with buck and rolls. Comes with the breast collar, comes with the flank cinch. Just overall a great using saddle, and it's fancies, and the women folk like that as well. So the next saddle Rick sent me was this one here. I rode this saddle a little bit too, but a 15-inch seat is just a little bit too short for me. I can ride it and it's comfortable, but I like a 16-inch seat. So the next one he sent me was this 16-inch seat here. This saddle is more of a special order saddle for him. It's still based on the same tree. It's got full quarter-horse bars, flat plate rigging, and everything about this saddle I like. But this saddle also comes with a padded insert in the seat, which I've never rode before. It's comfy. As far as a working saddle, you know, I don't know that I need this, but it is comfortable. I've taken this and rode it in 3 or 4 different clinics, and some of my customers have rode it as well. Drug colts around with it. It's a great saddle. Again, this one has a high back. It also comes with a Cheyenne roll. You can order it that way, and some of his production saddles come both ways, so you'll have to talk to him and ask him what he has on hand. But I gave him some suggestions for improvements on these saddles, which I've passed on back and forth throughout the summer. And one of the things that I got from a lot of my customers is they wanted a lighter saddle and an in-skirt rig saddle to make it lighter and more manageable for women. So this is what he came up with based on some of my suggestions and some of my customer suggestions. He built this in-skirt rig lighter weight saddle. This one here, these average about 40 to 42 pounds depending on the seat size and how they're rigged. This one here comes in at 35 pounds, which is a real good weight. It's still not super light for a lot of you weak folks, but for a good stout lighter weight saddle, this is your ticket. We also had some suggestions to narrow up the twist and the seat size in these to accommodate smaller, shorter-legged people. So he did narrow the seat and the twist in this one, and he deepened the seat a little bit. This one has a full padded seat in it as well, and I've rode this saddle a lot as well. I'm not a fan of padded seats, but a lot of you folks are, so you can probably get them either way. In-skirt rigged, which lightens it up a little bit. The stirrup leathers on this saddle and this one, I have a tough time getting short enough for my shorter legged customers. So we suggested a little bit to narrow up those fenders a little bit and make the fenders a little bit shorter to allow a little bit more upward adjustment on these saddles to get shorter legged people in them. But this one here is still a work in progress. I know he's got 2 or 3 different kinds out there that he's working on these, but for folks that don't want or don't need a great big stout heavy saddle, this one may be the one you want to look at.
Go back to the stirrup letters on mine, where you were,
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, Vic there, my director and boss, tells me to go back to this saddle. This saddle here, the stirrup leathers are a little bit shorter on it, and this one can be raised up for shorter legged people. So, and I've still got a couple of extra holes to go on this one. So you need to ask when you're ordering these saddles to have a little bit shorter fender put on them to allow for shorter legged people. Me, I usually ask for extra long ones because most of them don't fit me if I don't. But with Rick saddles, I've never had a problem with getting them long enough to fit me. It's just a little bit too short sometimes. Okay, so that's about all I can tell you on this saddle. This one also comes with buck and rolls, as all of them do. They come with buck and roll standard. I pulled them off of this one to use a little bit different way to see how it sat with the seat and the narrower twist, and not rely on the buck and rolls to keep you from some sliding forward in these saddles. And it works well with or without the buck and rolls. So, and then this saddle, this is the last one he sent me, and this one was kind of the culmination of all the suggestions that I made and asked him to look at or modify a little bit. And this saddle I've rode quite a lot too, and I've put it through its paces and drugged some horses around with it and roped off it a little bit. I fit all these saddles on a number of different horses this summer, from young 2-year-olds that I was starting all the way up to a big old Belgian mare with a back that looked like the flight deck on an aircraft carrier. And they all of these saddles fit every horse I put them on well with just using a 1-inch pad. If you get an extremely narrow horse, you might have to pad up a little bit more, but a 1-inch pad worked on everything from a young 2-year-old up to my Ackelteckie, who's got a back like a razor blade. And I haven't got any other saddle in my tack room that I can ride pag with just a 1-inch pad, other than these J.C. Martin saddles. So that was a good plus for me too, because I have a hard time fitting pag with a saddle, and now I got 3 of them here that I can ride him in, 4 of them actually. This saddle is tough and stout. It's plain, but that's the way I like them. I don't want a fancy saddle. I like just a plain leather saddle that I can oil up and take care of and knock around without having to worry about something fancy getting scraped up. So out of all these saddles, this was my favorite one to ride, because I didn't have to baby it or feel like I was going to scuff up the tooling on it or something. And for my money, this is the one that I like. The only thing that I've asked Rick to do is offer this saddle in a half-breed design with a leather or a rough-out seat in it, because as a working saddle, the rough-out seat just gives you a little more security when you're getting on younger horses or spry colts or something that's a little bit gnarly. I like that rough-out seat to give you a little bit more security in the seat. Other than that, we talked a little bit about deepening out these seats a little bit in these saddles and making them a little deeper, which is already on the planning board for him to do. It's not that it's bad now. It's very comfortable and very secure when you're riding in it, but a little bit deeper seat will make it just a little more comfortable for a long ride where you don't feel like you're sliding forward or you have to keep yourself in the saddle if you're not well balanced. But I have not had a problem with being insecure in any of these saddles, and we've rode a couple of gnarly colts this year in this one and this one over here, and even Vickie's saddle. We've put it on a couple spry ones that worked pretty well. So other than that, I highly highly endorse these saddles that I've ridden, and they're just for your info, all of these saddles are all based on the same tree. So if you order the saddle with the full quarter horse bars in it, this is the saddle you're going to get in whatever configuration you want. So the tree is going to fit the horse the same way no matter what kind of saddle you buy based on the weighed tree. So with that, we're going to probably call it good for today and wish you all a happy holidays. And I also have one of these in the tack room there that's for sale if you want to come down and take a look at it. But I really like these saddles, and I think for the money you can't do better. You can go out and buy a $4,000 saddle if you want to, but for the money you're going to spend on these saddles, you'll have just as good looking and just as tough a saddle as you will going out and spending a pile of money on another one. So y'all have a good one, and we'll catch you in the spring or when Rick sends me another saddle to take a look at. Later, bye.